Imagine being at a lively party surrounded by laughter, conversations, and the buzz of energy. Despite all the activity, you feel a sense of isolation, even loneliness. Why does this happen? Why do some people find comfort in solitude while others seem to shy away from it? More importantly, what does this reveal about the deepest aspects of ourselves? Today, we'll dive into the intriguing mind of Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, and explore his views on the loner. Jung believed that loneliness is deeply connected to our ability to express what truly matters. The innermost thoughts, feelings, and aspirations we often keep hidden. But there's more to it than that. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why some individuals prefer solitude, but also how this preference can be a route to self-discovery, personal growth, and even creativity. In a society that values extroversion, where connection and constant interaction are celebrated, the loner is often misunderstood. These individuals might be seen as odd or detached, but what if their desire for solitude isn't a sign of dysfunction, but rather a complex psychological process? Carl Jung proposed a theory that offers clarity on this issue. He argued that many people who seek solitude aren't merely avoiding others, they are searching for something within themselves. To fully grasp this, we need to understand Jung's concept of the self. For Jung, the self isn't just the conscious mind, the part of us that interacts with the world each day. It also includes the unconscious mind, which holds everything from personal memories to archetypal symbols that have shaped human experiences across time. Jung believed that true wholeness comes from integrating both the conscious and unconscious parts of ourselves. For many, this journey of integration begins in solitude. Take a moment to think. When was the last time you were truly alone without distractions? In those quiet moments, we often find ourselves confronting thoughts, fears, unresolved emotions, and dreams we typically avoid. According to Jung, this introspection is vital for our psychological well-being. He called this process individuation, the journey of becoming our most authentic selves. And here's the key. This journey often requires solitude. Jung saw the loner as someone who, whether consciously or unconsciously, embarks on the path of individuation. This person steps away from the noise of the external world to explore their inner landscape, seeking a deeper understanding of who they are. They confront their shadow, the darker, often hidden aspects of their personality, and work to integrate it with their conscious self. It's a challenging process, but one that leads to a sense of wholeness and fulfillment. You might wonder, is this journey of solitude necessary for everyone? Jung didn't believe that being a loner was essential for self-understanding. However, he did assert that moments of solitude are crucial for anyone who wants to live authentically. In a world that constantly distracts us through technology, social obligations, and work, taking time for quiet reflection is more important than ever. For some, this need for solitude is stronger, and for them, embracing a loner's lifestyle is not a weakness, but a strength. This brings us to an important point: society's misunderstanding of the loner. In many cultures, those who prefer solitude are often labeled as antisocial or even pathological. People assume that those who enjoy their own company must be lonely or depressed. But Jung offers a different perspective. He suggests that for some, solitude isn't about withdrawing from society. It's about going inward. These individuals aren't running from others, they're running toward themselves. They're driven by a deep internal quest to understand who they truly are and how they fit into the grand scheme of life. Let's pause and reflect. Have you ever felt the urge to withdraw, not because you want to escape others, but because you feel the need to discover something deeper within? To step away from the constant demands of social interaction? If you've ever felt this desire, you're not alone. According to Jung, this longing is not something to fear or suppress. In fact, it should be embraced as an essential part of the journey towards self-knowledge. As we delve deeper into Jung's ideas, we begin to understand that the psychology of the loner isn't about avoiding others. It's about engaging with one's inner world, giving oneself the space to think, reflect, and grow. This isn't a rejection of society, but an affirmation of the importance of understanding oneself. In this first part, we've established a foundation for understanding the psychology of the loner from a Jungian perspective. However, there's much more to uncover. How does this journey into solitude impact creativity? How do loners find meaning in their lives even when they are apart from others? And most importantly, what can we learn from their experiences to enrich our own lives? In the next section, we'll explore how solitude can unlock creativity and lead to profound insights. We'll also look at real-world examples of individuals who have embraced the life of a loner and how it transformed them. So, stay with us. What comes next might change the way you think about solitude and its role in your personal journey. Let's dive deeper into one of the most surprising aspects of solitude, its connection to creativity. Jung himself was no stranger to this concept. He often retreated to his tower in Bollingen, Switzerland, where he would spend days in isolation, contemplating his ideas and engaging in creative activities like carving stones. He believed that when solitude is embraced fully, it can serve as a gateway to inspiration and profound inner insights. Imagine yourself in a quiet room, far from the demands and noise of everyday life. It's just you and your thoughts. In these moments, something remarkable begins to unfold. You start noticing ideas that were once hidden beneath the surface of your mind, beginning to surface. Without the distractions of the outside world, your mind is free to wander, explore, and create. This is the power of solitude, a power that Carl Jung understood deeply. Jung proposed that creativity doesn't arise solely from the conscious mind. Often it comes from the unconscious, a place that is not always accessible when we are distracted by external stimuli. The loner, by seeking solitude, creates the ideal conditions for these unconscious thoughts and ideas to rise to the surface. In other words, creativity is often born from the quiet spaces in our minds. Consider some of the greatest artists, writers, and thinkers throughout history. Many of them sought solitude to create their masterpieces. Think of Virginia Woolf, who would retreat to her room to write, or Henry David Thoreau, who famously lived in solitude at Walden Pond to reflect on life and nature. Even Albert Einstein, renowned for his brilliant mind, often sought moments of quiet to think deeply about his theories. These individuals understood something that modern society often overlooks. Solitude can be the birthplace of innovation and genius. However, this process is not always easy. For many, being alone with one's thoughts can be unsettling. In solitude, we face our inner fears, doubts, and insecurities, what Jung referred to as the shadow. The shadow represents the aspects of ourselves that we typically keep hidden, even from our conscious minds. It's the darker side of our personality, the parts of ourselves that are difficult to accept. For the loner, solitude is not just a time for reflection, but also a time for confronting the shadow. While this can be challenging, it is also incredibly rewarding. By facing the shadow, we begin to understand ourselves more fully. We recognize both our strengths and weaknesses, leading us toward greater self-integration. This process of integrating the shadow is a crucial part of individuation, the journey toward wholeness. Jung believed that confronting the darker parts of ourselves is essential for personal growth. Now you might wonder, why would anyone want to face these shadowy aspects of their personality? What's the benefit of acknowledging these parts? The answer lies in the transformation that takes place when we do. When we recognize and accept our shadow, we free ourselves from its control. Instead of being unconsciously driven by our fears and insecurities, we become more self-aware, grounded, and ultimately more creative. As Jung once said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This is the essence of the loner's journey. In solitude, the loner not only taps into their creative potential, but also faces the aspects of themselves that they might otherwise avoid. This blending of creativity and self-awareness fosters a deeper understanding of the self and enhances our ability to navigate life's complexities. This leads to an important realization. Solitude isn't just a physical state, but a mental one. You don't have to be completely isolated to benefit from solitude. Even amidst a busy life, it's possible to carve out moments of quiet reflection. These moments offer the chance to connect with your inner self, process emotions, and let creativity flow. Now, think about how this might apply to your own life. Have you ever faced a moment where you felt creatively stuck? When no matter how hard you tried, fresh ideas seemed elusive? It's in these moments that solitude can be especially potent. By stepping away from the noise and distractions of daily life, you give yourself the space to think freely. And often it's in these quiet moments that breakthroughs happen. The psychology of the loner teaches us that solitude is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It's a tool for self-discovery, creativity, and personal transformation. For the loner, the time spent alone isn't wasted. It's a vital part of the journey toward understanding themselves and their place in the world. But there's another aspect we need to address. While solitude can lead to incredible insights and growth, it can also present challenges. Loners often struggle with feelings of isolation, not just physically but emotionally as well. They may have difficulty connecting with others or may feel misunderstood by society. Jung recognized this tension and offered wisdom on how to navigate it. In the next section, we will explore the emotional challenges faced by loners and how Jung's insights can help us understand and overcome these struggles. We'll look at the balance between solitude and connection, and how loners can find meaning and fulfillment in a world that often misunderstands them. There's much more to uncover, and some of the most important revelations are still ahead. Stay with us as we continue this exploration into Jung's understanding of the loner and the profound lessons we can all learn from it. As we go deeper into the psychology of the loner, it's time to address one of the most significant challenges faced by those who prefer solitude: the feeling of isolation. While solitude can be a source of creativity, self-discovery, and personal growth, it can also lead to moments of loneliness and emotional disconnection from others. Carl Jung had profound insights into this experience, and understanding them can help us navigate the tension between solitude and connection. Jung believed that loneliness isn't simply the result of physical isolation. Rather, it stems from a deeper emotional disconnection, a feeling that we cannot share the things that truly matter with others. This is something many loners experience. They may find themselves surrounded by people, yet still feel isolated, unable to express their true thoughts and feelings. This is because the journey into the self that loners undertake in solitude often uncovers truths and insights that are difficult to communicate. Think back to a time when you had a deeply personal realization, something that radically shifted your understanding of yourself or the world around you. Imagine trying to explain a personal realization to someone who hasn't had the same experience. It's not easy, is it? This is the struggle that many loners face. Their journey into solitude brings them to a deeper understanding of themselves, but articulating that understanding to others can be difficult, leaving them feeling disconnected. Jung acknowledged this challenge, but he also believed it was not insurmountable. He suggested that while loners might struggle to communicate their inner world, they can still find meaning and connection through other means. One way to bridge this gap is by finding or creating a community of like-minded individuals. These communities can provide a space where loners feel understood and accepted for who they are, allowing them to form meaningful connections without sacrificing their need for solitude. It's important to note that Jung wasn't advocating for complete isolation. He recognized the value of relationships and social interaction for psychological health. However, he also believed that true connection can only happen when individuals are fully in touch with themselves. In other words, the loner's journey into solitude is not a rejection of others. It's a way of becoming more authentic, which ultimately allows for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. This brings us to a crucial point in understanding the psychology of the loner: the balance between solitude and connection. While solitude is vital for self-discovery, connection is equally important for emotional well-being. The key is finding the right balance, a balance that allows the loner to maintain their sense of self while still engaging with the world. Jung believed this balance could be achieved through what he called individuation, the process of becoming one's true self. Individuation isn't about withdrawing from society. It's about integrating both the conscious and unconscious parts of the self, so an individual can engage with the world from a place of authenticity. For the loner, this process often requires periods of solitude to reflect, grow, and integrate inner experiences, but it also requires moments of connection where they can share their insights and form meaningful relationships. Let's reflect on this for a moment. If you identify as a loner, you may have experienced the pull between solitude and connection. There may be times when you crave the peace and quiet of being alone, and other times when you long for connection with others. This is a natural part of the human experience, and Jung's insights can help us navigate this tension in a way that promotes psychological health and well-being. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious also plays a role here. He believed that all humans share a set of universal symbols and archetypes that are present in the unconscious mind. These archetypes, such as the hero, the mother, and the shadow, shape our experiences and interactions with the world. The loner, by delving into their unconscious mind through solitude, often gains a deeper understanding of these archetypes and how they manifest in their own life. This awareness can help them connect with others on a deeper level as they recognize the shared human experience that underlies all individual journeys. But this doesn't mean the loner must always be social, nor should they abandon their preference for solitude. In fact, Jung argued that for some individuals, solitude is not just a preference, it's a necessity. These individuals, whom he referred to as introverts, are naturally inclined to turn inward, reflect, and seek meaning within themselves. For them, solitude isn't a burden but a source of strength. It's where they recharge, gain clarity, and find the inspiration to continue their journey of self-discovery. This understanding of introversion and extroversion is one of Jung's most influential contributions to psychology. He believed that both introverts and extroverts have valuable traits but operate differently in the world. Extroverts gain energy from interacting with others, while introverts gain energy from spending time alone. For the loner, this introverted energy is what fuels their creativity and personal growth. However, it's important to remember that even the most introverted individuals need moments of connection to feel fully balanced. So, where does this leave us? We've explored how solitude can lead to creativity and self-discovery, and we've also looked at the emotional challenges that come with being a loner. We've seen that the balance between solitude and connection is essential for psychological well-being, and that Jung's insights into introversion and individuation can help us understand this balance. But there's still more to uncover. In the final part of this exploration, we're going to focus on the practical side of the loner's journey. How can you embrace solitude without feeling isolated? How can you find meaning and purpose in your life, even if you prefer to spend time alone? And most importantly, how can you integrate the lessons of solitude into your everyday life in a way that promotes growth, fulfillment, and connection? Stay with us as we bring everything together and reveal the most powerful insights from Carl Jung's psychology of the loner. What comes next will give you the tools to embrace your own journey, whether you identify as a loner or simply want to understand yourself on a deeper level. As we reach the final part of our journey into Carl Jung's psychology of the loner, it's time to focus on how we can apply these insights to our own lives. Whether or not you identify as a loner, the lessons of solitude, individuation, and self-awareness are universally valuable. Jung believed that every person's journey is one of growth and transformation. By understanding the psychology of the loner, we gain practical tools for navigating this journey with greater clarity and purpose. Let's start by addressing a common question. How can we embrace solitude without feeling isolated or disconnected from the world? As we discussed earlier, solitude is not the same as loneliness. Solitude is a conscious choice, a deliberate withdrawal from the external world in order to connect more deeply with the inner self. Loneliness, on the other hand, is the feeling of being cut off from meaningful connection. The key to avoiding loneliness lies in approaching solitude with mindfulness and intention. One of the most important practices for embracing solitude is learning how to be present with yourself. In our modern world, it's easy to fill every moment with distractions, whether it's scrolling through social media, watching TV, or engaging in constant communication with others. But solitude requires us to set aside these distractions and be fully present with our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This can be uncomfortable at first, especially if we're not used to it, but over time it becomes a powerful tool for self-reflection and growth. Jung believed that solitude offers us a unique opportunity to explore our unconscious mind. When we're constantly surrounded by external stimuli, it's hard to hear the quieter voices within us, the voices that hold our deeper desires, fears, and insights. By spending time alone, we give ourselves the space to listen to these voices, understand what they're telling us, and integrate their wisdom into our lives. But solitude isn't just about introspection, it's also about creativity and renewal. Many of the world's greatest thinkers and creators, as we've mentioned, sought solitude as a way to tap into their creative potential. You can do the same. Whether you're an artist, a writer, or simply someone who wants to think more deeply about life, solitude can provide the mental space you need to develop new ideas, solve problems, and find inspiration. One practical way to cultivate creative solitude is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings allows you to process them in a structured way and can often lead to surprising insights. Jung himself kept detailed journals throughout his life, documenting his dreams, ideas, and reflections. This practice of writing can be a powerful way to connect with your unconscious mind and explore the deeper layers of your psyche. Another method for embracing solitude is through mindfulness or meditation. These practices teach us how to focus our attention inward, quiet the mind, and observe our thoughts without judgment. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we can learn to be present with ourselves, cultivate creativity, and navigate the complexities of life with greater clarity. We can become more comfortable with being alone, learning to appreciate the stillness that solitude brings. Over time, this can lead to a greater sense of peace and clarity in our lives. However, as we've discussed, solitude must be balanced with connection. Even the most introverted loners need meaningful relationships to truly thrive. The challenge lies in finding connections that are authentic and aligned with your values and inner self. For loners, this might mean seeking out smaller, more intimate social circles where deep, meaningful conversations are valued over superficial interactions. Jung's concept of individuation plays a crucial role here. Individuation is the process of becoming who you truly are, of integrating all aspects of your personality, both conscious and unconscious, into a unified whole. For the loner, this often means embracing their preference for solitude while also recognizing the importance of connection. It's not about conforming to societal expectations or forcing yourself to be more social than you're comfortable with. Instead, it's about finding the right balance for you, one that allows you to engage with others from a place of authenticity and self-awareness. So how can you integrate these lessons into your everyday life? Here are a few practical steps. Make time for solitude. Whether it's a few minutes each day or longer periods on the weekends, set aside time to be alone with your thoughts. Use this time to reflect, journal, meditate, or engage in creative activities that bring you joy. Pay attention to your inner world. Notice the thoughts, feelings, and ideas that arise during your moments of solitude. Don't shy away from uncomfortable emotions or difficult insights. Embrace them as opportunities for growth and self-understanding. Cultivate relationships that support your journey of self-discovery. Seek out individuals who understand and appreciate your need for solitude and who can engage in meaningful conversations about the deeper aspects of life. These relationships will help you feel connected, even when you spend much of your time alone. Practice mindfulness in your daily life, whether through meditation, yoga, or simply being more present in the moment. Mindfulness can help you stay grounded and connected to yourself, even amidst external distractions. As we conclude this exploration of Carl Jung's psychology of the loner, it's clear that when solitude is embraced mindfully, it can be a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation. It allows us to connect with our inner selves, explore our unconscious minds, and tap into our creative potential. However, it's also important to remember that we don't have to do this journey alone. By finding a balance between solitude and connection, we can create a life that is deeply fulfilling and aligned with our true selves. Jung's insights into the psychology of the loner remind us that the path to individuation, the path to becoming our authentic selves, is a journey of both solitude and connection. It's a journey that requires us to look inward, embrace the darker parts of ourselves, and seek meaning in both the quiet moments of reflection and the meaningful relationships we build along the way. As you reflect on everything we've discussed, consider how these insights apply to your own life. How can you embrace solitude in a way that promotes creativity, self-awareness, and personal growth? How can you find balance between time alone and meaningful connection with others? And most importantly, how can you integrate these lessons into your everyday life so that you can continue to grow, evolve, and become your true self? The answers to these questions may not come immediately, but they will reveal themselves over time as you continue your journey of self-discovery. And remember, as Jung once said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. May your journey into solitude be one of awakening, growth, and profound transformation. Thanks for joining me in this exploration. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below.